Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk Zoeva palettes especially. I have 5 in front of me right here and I want to talk you through them and which ones are specifically my go-tos and my favourites. Let's talk about palette number 1. This is the Zoeva Spice of Life palette. In all the palettes you get 10 shades, selection of mattes and shimmers. We're going to swatch that way to that. Number 1 is Unlike Any Others. Shade number 2 is Fortuous Moments. Number 3 is Balance the Contrast. Shade number 4 is The Flavour. 5 is Favourite Discovery. Shade number 6 is Variety is Key. These are the shimmers in the Zoeva Spice of Life palette. For me personally, in my palette, my mattes are incredibly pigmented, very well pressed. You get very little fallout in the mattes, and this is very much a go-to palette of mine. The second palette I've got is the Zoeva Rose Golden palette. Lovely, very neutral, basic palette. I'm gonna swatch the shimmers from here and here. First we have Reflective Elegance. Second we have Cooper is King. Next up we have Shining Bright. This next one is called Rusty Petals. Then we've got Foil. Next up we've got Just a Rose. And finally we have Golden Rule. I personally love this palette. I think it's perfect if you work in an office or something where you want to look smart. Next up we have the Zoeva Aristo palette. Again, amazing designs, and it's very much a match situation. So yeah, let's swatch. We're just going to swatch these shimmers. Shade number 1, which is the burgundy at the top, is called Energetic. The next shade, which is a stunning green, is called Prehistory. Next up we have the Goddess, which is just champagne-y silver. Next we have the shade Air and Water. And finally we have the shade Mother's House. Those are the corresponding shades. I very much recommend this palette. I recommend all my palettes. I'm going to say that to every single one because I wouldn't have them if I didn't. As always, blend beautifully and amazing quality. So that's the Zoeva Aristo palette. Next up we have the Zoeva Coco Blend palette. This is the one I've had the longest. This one I've had for about 4 or 5 years. Again, I'm just going to swatch the shimmers, so these 3, this gold, and then these 2 here. First up is Sweeter End. Next up we have Warm Notes. The next shade we have is called Subtle Blend. That's just a warm gold, but it is stunning. And next up we have Infusion, which is and finally for this palette, the next shade is Delicate Acidity, this is a Coco Blend, my favourite of my Zoeva palettes. I very much recommend this palette. And last but not least is the Zoeva Caramel Melange palette. So I'm just going to swatch these 4 here. First we have 182 degrees centigrade. Next up we've got Liquid Center, which is very much like pure ganache. Next up we have Almost Burnt, which again is very much like liquid center and like pure ganache. Finally, we have edible gem. The quality of these are unbeatable for their price point. I don't think you can go wrong with a Zoeva palette, so I recommend you getting your hands on one, and I very much recommend that you go and start having your own Zoeva palette collection. I hope that helps you. I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.